So, it's been a while since I talked about wrestling, and I do know there's a couple folks here on my channel that do pay attention to wrestling and do watch it very frequently. And either could disagree with me wholeheartedly or completely agree with me wholeheartedly, depending on how they feel about the following wrestler. And then, of course, as the title suggests, Kenta. Now, Kenta, by far, is one of the greatest current-gen wrestlers going at the moment, and could be of all time. Now, the guy's work ethic is just freaking brutal. And on top of that, the guy is an amazing to watch wrestler. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Stage actors, wrestling, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Real wrestlers are technically in the Olympics or it's high school gyms. But this case, as the title professional wrestler signifies, this guy, I would say, is on top of the branch. You know, he's on top of the tree when it comes to quality. I mean, the guy is next to Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, which is his real name, CM Punk, and, you know, the list goes on of quality wrestlers that you can compare him to. Or if anything, this guy's kind of in a league of its own. I mean, you got him in these great epic matches on Noah and, you know, New Japan and everywhere else via Japan. This guy is equivalent of the Mystico, but Mystico sadly got stuck with a shitty mask and a lot of drugs injected to him to keep up with the work ethic that was called WWE. But again, me going off topic completely there. So, he's pretty much the Mystico of how Mystico was to Mexico. Mystico to Mexico, haha. But basically, Kenta is a internet sweetheart, supposedly, quote unquote. But at the same time, he's an international success with Japan. So WWE's interest with the guy is stocks and bounds. You know, just the guy alone is money if they allow him to be himself. Obviously with a little bit of limitations here and there, because the shit he does isn't ECW stuff where, you know, he slams chairs people's heads, blah blah blah. The guy is a very ferocious character. Like, he is very aggressive, where he sells moves and at the same time he delivers moves that are just fucking brutal. He does the GTS, which he was the innovator of. And that move, when he does it, looks fucking brutal. I mean, CM Punk does it, looks okay. But when Kenta does it, it looks like he literally killed the motherfucker who he hit it with. So, you can see my excitement and my aesthetic behavior behind the guy, but you can see, if you look up on YouTube or internet archives anywhere throughout the interwebs about Kenta, and it's an exciting thing to know that at least he's getting international recognition beyond the internet and all that. Same thing with Daniel Bryan. I mean, yes, pardon the pun, he does have the chant. That's all people kind of relate him to, is just the chant. But if he can do such a simple thing and make it very popular with the fans, that means he's over. I mean, that's just how it is. You're always going to be over. I mean, Daniel Bryan has a nice ferocious behavior to him when he wrestles. So people think he's boring, but then they look at people like such as Brock Lesnar and all that. Think that guy is like the fucking innovation of excitement. That guy's boring in the ring. At least the Brock Lesnar we know now. Brock Lesnar then was good. He was fucking fast for a big guy, you know? Don't get me wrong, I'm not here to shit on Brock Lesnar here, but you know what I'm saying? We need fast, quick, brutal guys to watch. That totally sounded very homoerotic just now. I'm sorry, I'm acting a little silly right now. But either way, you get the point. Imagery in my head was horrible. Anyway, so my main thesis is this. They need to let Kenta be himself, as I said before. You need to let him be the staple of that he's known for. Give people who are watching the company an incentive to look at this guy and go, holy fuck, that guy's brutal. Because when you hear the fans in the audience, you hear chicks chanting for Cena, right? Mostly kids and chicks. You hear dudes chanting for the opposite or the opposed side for a reason, because they like to watch the wrestling, the gritty, the brutal parts of the wrestling. You know, a mixture of submission and grappling and, you know, just high-flying shenanigans going on in the ring. And everyone here who watches this video right now who are interested in Kenta or this news would agree with me. They want to see a good assessment of variety. And even if a guy's mid-card and puts excellent matches on to carry over the show, that's a good thing. I mean, I understand completely well needing the face of the company, and I'm really on the borderline to say that Kenta quite not will be the face of the company at the moment. In the long run, if they allow him to be himself, he could put people in seats, because this guy is exciting. What's that guy got to do next week? That's how CM Punk was at first. Everyone knew who the fuck he was, but they didn't quite know who he fully was. Until later on, they allowed him to do that pipe bomb thing, and he was vocal, very vocal. I mean, CM Punk is good on the mic. Kenta don't speak English that well. He speaks very basic, reformed English, but past that, you kind of got this guy who's from Noah, which is a wrestling company in Japan, and so you got this guy here who is a brutal motherfucker, and they're just pretty much hopefully not going to butcher the guy's moveset. They can't do that to him. They have to let him have what he had originally, because he won't kill anybody in the ring, but he'll make it look like he did. And that's what WWE needs. They had their suit of strong guys, right? They had these buff, jacked guys who they're trying to make the face of the company. VSC Punk is not a very muscular guy at all. He's kind of a scrawny-ish guy, has a decent build. So then you got this look going, and you got this stigma going for a lot of fans who think they need to see these big jack guys and some secret fantasies sexually bounded beneath their pillow tops, that they need to see a big brutal guy to hold the heavyweight title, which isn't true. I mean, I'd rather see a high quality match where there's like this, seeing these guys beat the shit out of each other with these moves, and it makes it more exciting to watch. And so therefore you got guys who are big and bulky who get tired after a while, so they end up doing a very obscure finish. And everyone sees that. I mean, these guys could be jacked as hell, but then you hear them go and like whisper to each other, "I'm fucking tired, man. Just fucking pin me." And so you basically got that shit going on. So at the end of the day, good news, exciting shit, and I just want to see a generation for wrestling that we see these high flyers be on top of the card. Like, everyone wants to see that. I mean, you've seen Daniel Bryan there for a little while. I mean, granted, he hurt his neck, and now he's not the face of the company anymore, as far as I'm concerned. Don't get me wrong, I like the guy a lot, but you know what's going to happen there. If you sustain an injury for so long, you end up getting pushed off the card. CM Punk was in the mid-card / high card for a while. He wasn't very much built, but he kept a very interesting story going, and it sold shirts, and it sold tickets. It put people in seats because they seen this subpar, quote-unquote, Stone Cold. Even though CM Punk and Stone Cold have a slightly similar aspect to each other, they're completely bipolar opposite characters. One doesn't drink, one drinks. Vice versa. Again, you get the point. The whole, this anti-hero guy who just says, fuck the man. You got that Stone Cold and you got the CM Punk is where the only comparison you can throw at each other with those characters. Now, with Kenta, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to develop him, because he doesn't speak English, as I just said before. So how are they going to put a mouthpiece on this guy? I mean, his actions in the ring speak louder than words, and you'll probably see that if you even look at the archive. If you already know him by now, and then you know what I'm talking about. This guy's fucking crazy. He's brutal. So I don't know. I just want to see a generation of wrestling where it's a damn good match we're going to watch. At the same time, I don't want to see some big, husky, muscular dude, being the face of the company. I never gave a shit about that. I never really cared. Jake the Snake Roberts had an okay physique, but when I was a kid, growing up to my mid-teens, growing up to my adulthood now, I always wished that Jake the Snake Roberts got more popular than he already was. I hoped he would have made the top card. Now, I know Kenta not quite going to be the top card. He's just not. But I think he's going to put a lot of spectacular matches ahead of us. Because if you pair him with people such as Cesaro and Zayn, and I would even say, what the hell is his name? He's that model guy with the blonde hair. Cannot remember his damn name right now. He has this weird, like, shins or calf things on his legs right now. I cannot remember what the hell his name is. Wow, I totally went blank. But anyway, you guys get what I'm saying. I hope Kenta can at least give me something entertaining to watch when I watch WWE in the future. Otherwise, it's becoming a stale product. I mean, you had this rush of new people, new faces coming into the company via NXT, which is actually a good show. You know, if not, I think it's a lot. You should probably replace SmackDown with NXT and just put all the folks from SmackDown and mix them into the formula of Raw. I mean, don't make a massive show out of that. Just make it into a show that's consistent, so that we don't carry over feuds to Friday night. Instead, put NXT on the bracket of Sci-Fi, so people can watch these exciting matches on that show on Sci-Fi. And then the WWE Network carry over some extra matches for NXT to give him some little bit extra exposure for those characters, especially because of the fact that if you're gonna have someone like Kenta in NXT, you gotta give people a reason to understand where he's coming from, because this guy is crazy. You know, especially if he mix him up with people who can sell a move, such as Dolph Ziggler, which I'm dying to see how Dolph Ziggler sells the fucking go to sleep from fucking Kenta. Oh my god, I will lay on the floor and mark the fuck out as soon as I see that happen. I mean, I'll be just like freaking Dean Ambrose, just laying the fuck down, marking out like crazy. Just, that'll be it for me. So, anyway, that's enough of this conversation. Sort of repeat myself over and over a little couple times, but what do you guys feel about this thing? I mean, personally to me, I hope they don't kill his character, at least with a popular limelight aspect, because he is a credible character. I mean, he does have an awesome presence in the ring. He's a good worker, if you want to use worker in the ring. So, yeah, take it easy, touch my nipples, see you later, and leave your feedback below.